Greetings, friends. My name is Griffin Ess, and you're listening to the first Creative Acclimation Podcast. I know I have a tendency to rant, but this is the right time to do it. Now, I was going to hold off on our first episode until I had my intro music and stuff set up, but something really interesting happened over the past 24 hours, and everyone's still freaking out about it, so I figured I should talk about it sooner rather than later. Right now, there's a dress going around the internet. The dress is of questionable color, and many people have been split by the discussion. The fact of the matter is that this whole moment has really highlighted a significant aspect of human nature. When a person has a gut response to something, and they are trusting their senses and their feelings about a thing, they tend to cling to them in a very visceral fashion. So you have this one population that thinks it's a white and gold dress, and another population that thinks it's a black and blue dress. And there are vicious, vivid debates going on about this. Now, everyone's a little confused on why this is such a big deal to people, but I want you all to think of it from another perspective. This is very similar to how political debates go. You have two main parties that are all bound together in their own us versus them mindset. There is a topic that nobody quite has the facts on, and there's a lot of opinion and conjecture regarding it. Then people from each party take stances and then viciously defend them with argument and often with misdirection. And with this photo, we're seeing a lot of the same thing, where people are actually making minor Photoshop adjustments to increase the blueness of it or increase the whiteness of it, and then redistributing it in order to try to convince more people to be on their side. It's a ridiculously odd thing to think that people can get this rooted down and upset about something that seems so trivial, but this is just something that people do. Now, the important thing to note is that if you knew that there were two groups and you knew what the two options were, you're going to fall into one camp or the other typically, and then just become part of that little mini culture that is defending itself against the other one. The really strange thing is that if you just show the dress to people who aren't aware of the debate that's happening, they will trip over their own interpretations of the colors. When I first saw it, I saw blue and gold, which is a combination of both arguments. Some other people saw blue and brown, some people saw periwinkle blue and military green, but all of those people that I've checked with, they looked at the dress before they understood that there was a split between two options. Now, this is something called selection bias, which happens a lot in research, where you give people a limited number of options, which forces them to pick between them instead of giving a completely honest and real answer. So that explains the psychology of why everyone's making a big deal of this and why it has become so viral so quickly. Now, why is it that a dress can so clearly be interpreted in multiple ways? There is something called contextual color constancy. You take a red ball, and you know it's red in normal light. Then someone shines a blue light on it. Your brain, within that context, makes corrective estimations to still identify colors as accurately as possible. So despite the fact that the ball now looks purple or possibly even blue depending on the light's intensity, you're still adjusting to understand that it's a red ball. Now, sometimes you can do this without even looking at the object before the blue light hits it. In this specific scenario, the light that's hitting the dress is creating a very vague color scheme. However, if your brain is trying to make corrections for contextual color constancy, then what's going to happen is it's going to try to imply things. So it'll be looking at this blue-tinted, brown-tinted thing and assuming that it's a white dress with gold trims in shadow. Alternately, it could be looking at this and seeing the tones of blue and the darker shades and making the estimation that, oh, this is a blue-black dress that has a bright yellow light shining on it. Either way, your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do, it's simply doing it in one direction versus the other. So hopefully that helps you all understand why this is such an interesting controversy that's popped up overnight. If you'd like to start the battle all over again, you're welcome to post down in my comments below, and we'll see how this kind of turns out now that you've all been informed. Hopefully you'll click my subscribe button to be kept in the loop. So for right now, I'll leave you to wonder, is the white that you're seeing the same as the blue that I'm seeing? Thank you for listening, and remember, you're awesome.